Hello guys, how you doing? Today we're gonna talk about the movie wait. You didn't even answer. How you doing? You good? Nice. Good to hear. Today we're gonna talk about the movie Love Don't Cost a Thing. As a Christian girly, I love that title. And I love the premise of this movie. This movie portrays its main message so well. We get to see difficult characters, human characters, choose to love each other like it isn't hard, because they know that the sacrifice of loving someone doesn't even come close to the reward that is having that person with you. This story is centered around Alvin Johnson, a boy, a nerdy boy, that likes a girl, a popular girl, in his high school, Paris Morgan. Paris gets herself into a mini car accident, and Alvin, the boy that loves cars, offers her the money she needs to fix the car because she doesn't have it. But because nothing in this world is for free, the deal that he offers her is for her to be his girlfriend for 2 weeks so that he can become popular and fulfill his dreams of taking good memories out of high school. And it's actually a really basic premise. It's not something that we haven't seen before. So what sets this movie apart from the others? Alvin isn't just a nerdy boy. He's a black nerdy boy. And Paris, she isn't just a popular girl. She's a black popular girl. In fact, this movie is filled with black elements, from the music to the family dynamics to the outfits. When you look at the screen, you see life and color that represent our culture so well from what it used to be in the 19s and early 2000s. People say that we need more diversity in cinema as if we didn't have it before. Of course, there was a long way to go, but we had our own movies instead of being copy-pasted into things just to check inclusivity boxes. It felt more natural. And even though this movie comes from another movie called Can't Buy Me Love, it actually ends up being something that you can add to the list of things that this movie did right. The characters didn't feel that they were just race swapped. They were their own individuals with their own vibe and their own place in the story. Rather something that would it didn't feel like a cheap it didn't feel like a cheap swap, but rather something that would matter to the black community, something that was done with love and care. I think of movies like The Hunchback of Notre Dame and Rush Hour. They have something in common. Is that having colored characters doesn't feel like something that it's out of place, but it's actually something that adds to the story. And we're so used to seeing love cost everything when it comes to black people, so it's good to see a movie where that isn't the case. It's good to see a movie where love doesn't cost a thing. And the fact that this story is so black coded brings a sense of comfort that I think only black people can tell, only black people can understand. It's like not feeling left out in your own movie. Alvin, our main protagonist, starts off as a weird boy who's actually kind of dumb. I mean, the man gives his money to a girl he barely knew, the money that he earned from a car piece that would help him get his scholarship just to become popular. Alvin 0.1, as I'm going to call him, was so reckless to the point that he would throw all the hard work that he had cleaning pools just to earn the temporary validation of the people of his high school. It seems weird to think that a person would shoot herself in the foot like that. For temporary approval, come on, Alvin. You can do better than that. But don't you relate to him though? Have you never done something stupid just because you felt like it in the moment? Do it for the plot. I just like that phrase so much because it allows people to be reckless for a brief moment, but it has the power to make their lives worse in the long run. Not only theirs, but others people's lives. However, if you decide to choose that option, the do it for the plot option, I could tell you that it actually brings you instant satisfaction and a rush of excitement that you probably wouldn't feel if you chose the safest option. It's like exploring something new. Go for it. You selfish. I'm just playing. 0.1 was still a good guy. He cared about his friends, he cared about Paris. He was weird, but it was still his personality. And honestly, I believe that his character was only funny because of the actor that was playing the character, because otherwise it could have been kind of over the top. His funniness actually just made the story funnier, and that's what funny characters should do, not make you cringe or be like, ugh. You feel me? 01 gets more and more popular with Perry's help, so he starts to slowly shift into Alvin 0.2. Alvin still cares about his friends and he still cares about Paris, but because he's not choosing the right priority, Paris and his friends are treated like a secondary thing compared to his popularity. Even Alvin's personality starts to get a little exaggerated to maintain his personality, but I feel like that's what he thinks that a popular person should act like. And that's so him of him to do that, because only he would mess up at being popular. Only he would still have his personality while trying to pretend to be cool. But guess what? You were always cool, Alvin. Alvin's fear was to leave school without being able to enjoy it. But if we take a closer look, that just shows how immature he was. Setting your priorities straight is something that you will have to do when you become older. Letting the time wash things away may work out when you're in 5th grade, but not anymore. The things you do have consequences, and the way you treat people is gonna come after you. The way you treat people says a lot about who you are. 0.2 lack of priorities pushed the people he loved away, and no one is obligated to wait for you. And you better stop using the right time as a way to avoid solving your problems. Love, you're not going front and you're not staying in the same place. And the person that says that, oh, I'm not doing anything, so I'm not going back either, that person is lying to you, because time moves and it doesn't wait for you. In the end, after being humiliated, Alvin.2 loses everything. Now we have 0.3, the one who lost everything. Alvin had two options now: give up on everything and live like a loser, or set his priorities straight and get his friends back. Thankfully, he ends up choosing the second option, choosing his friends over the shame of getting rejected by trying again. So we see a character that evolved from a selfish boy who wanted others' approval and by so lost what was important to him, to a character that grew emotionally and understood what his priorities were and fought for them, surpassing the natural shame that comes with asking for forgiveness. Being cool and badass, or whatever word you use, is not being popular. Because who even uses popular nowadays? I don't know. I don't know much about nowadays. But being cool is not about that. Being cool is not being afraid to confront your own weaknesses and tear those things down. I feel like Paris and Alvin, they swapped. Paris used to be the popular one, but as she started walking around with Alvin, and then after he got popular, getting dumped by him made her lose her reputation. So I wanted to point out something. She wasn't popular because she was pretty, but she was popular because of the way that she carried herself. When her image went from confident girl to girl that gets dumped by popular boys and makes scandals, popularity flew. But differently from Alvin, she was always a good person throughout the movie. She always cared for Alvin, even when she didn't like him romantically. And you could say that she was good to him because of the money, but one of the first things in the movie, it's her helping him when he gets into the pool, when she barely knew him and he had nothing to offer to her. She helped him because she was kind. And she put up with his attitude when he was 0 because she was kind. So instead of just a development, we instead get to see a character like the inside of a character. We get to know the character and how she always was inside. The only thing that I think that changes about her is that she starts to get more courageous to do the things that she wants and not care that much about other people's opinions. That's why this character is so loved, because of her attitude, because she's kind, because she's a good person. This character is so loved, you don't even know. Which leads me to my final point. These characters are human. From Alvin's dad to Perry's ex-boyfriend, everything grabs your attention and makes you feel emotions towards the characters. I feel like the only characters that didn't have a good enough personality were Alvin's sister and Alvin's mom, but I loved her facial expression, so that doesn't even count. And then one of Alvin's friends, because I don't even understand why he was there. I think he was to be a comic relief, but Alvin was already funny enough, so I don't understand. Alvin's dad on the other side, that man was actually interesting. We can see him incentivizing Alvin to be more sexually active, but by the end of the movie, we end up getting a reason as to why he acts like this. He really just wanted the same as Alvin, for him to have a good experience in school. What the dad failed to teach Alvin was that he needs to have balance. There's a moment in the story when zero point 0.2 starts to treat his family in an inappropriate manner, and honestly, he lucky all his mom does is this. Because, my friend, in a black household, alright. Alright. So we see a dad that is trying to be good for his son, but doesn't know how to do that. I love their relationship because it's rare to see. Family is such an important part of who you become, so we definitely need to start paying more attention to Lars. Him. This guy. I love his role in this movie because it's so easy to relate to. When your friend leaves you for better friends, what do? On one side, they give your friend exactly what he wanted, a good school experience, but on the other side, you can't help but to think, wasn't I a good experience to you? Alvin had good friends, a scholarship guaranteed, but still it wasn't enough. They weren't good enough. At least he acted like it. Seeing the process of trying to hold on to a friend that does not deserve it, to finally letting it go and then being able to forgive him, it's truly amazing. Maybe this is your sign. Don't be afraid to let that person go, because if they're good for you, when they are good for you, they're gonna come back. And if they don't, it's okay. You're gonna be okay. They're not Jesus. Let's stop idolizing people. Let's stop idolizing relationships. This movie is so iconic and it's not for no reason. If you haven't seen it, what? If you have seen it, maybe it's a good time to go back and watch it again and remind yourself that love doesn't cost a thing.